how did you get into the world of franchising? Like how is this something that you're like, this is of interest to me?
Well, that's a great question. So thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Uh, I was in the corporate world. I was 25 years for a company called Del Taco. So I was in their operations and headed up their operations. And then a startup company, restaurant, Pyology Pizzeria, they said, hey, you know what? We want to build our brand. We have one store now. We really want to build our brand. So I came over, helped them with their franchise system. So I worked their operations, some franchise development, and we went from one store got over to 100. I was
Wow.
out. I was out helping franchisees and showing them the brand. And then what happened was one of the largest franchisees of Pyology came and said, hey, will you come run our operations? Which was a no-brainer for me because they were located right in my backyard. And then they were owned by two NFL football player brothers, and the dad was also involved, and he played in the NFL. So we did Pyologies, then we did our own we did a Baked Bear franchise, and then we did our own concept of a coffee concept and a cookie dough concept. So then one of the brothers then decided that he was done with NFL. After 14 years, you would say, yeah, it's time to call it quits. And he left. And then the other brother, he lost he got hurt, so he couldn't fulfill the rest of his contract. So then they decided, hey, we're going to pivot. We're going to go into the tequila business and, let's just kind of sell off and all that. And hey, I have nothing against tequila, but it was just not really, that was a passion of mine. And I was going, okay, what do I do now? And I decided, I wanted to step out of the restaurant world. And I just figured, you know what, I want to go in and help people find right franchise fits. And of course, I want to help professionals because the hardest thing is, like you were referring to in professionals of, hey, they have a job, they have a paycheck, and it gets too comfortable. But why don't we show them some options where they can have a much better life? And then so there was that part. And then on the athlete side, I also said, I want to kind of focus on athletes because I saw all the schemes that they came up to with the brothers, even their best friends of, hey, invest in this, invest in that. And it's like, I really kind of want to help educate athletes when the cheering stops of, hey, there's some things out there, as well as the professionals and of transitioning from that career and that 9 to 5. I know it's very tough, but I would tell you it'd be the most fulfilling thing you ever do. And you probably would come back and go, James, I wish I would have done this 5 years earlier.
What's interesting too, like, I guess just looking at the athlete perspective is the poor guys have so many people like asking for their money, right? Like, I think but like the one that comes to mind for me, because I know it was like a big news story for a bit, is I don't know if you remember Trent Richardson, the running back for the Cleveland Browns.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So Trent Richardson, he gave like everyone he was friends with a debit card. He invested in every opportunity that you could think of with nobody you'd ever heard of. So he like lost his entire salary in his first couple years playing in the league. And then he just really never turned out to be like what he was in college. So it's, for some guys, you do have a short opportunity and you want to invest in something that's like a reputable company that you've heard of, not like, hey, this is Lou, he may have an idea, and I think that's the difference with franchising, right? Is you're working with companies that, they have a track record.
100%. Not only the track record, but like we alluded to earlier, they're going to give you that playbook of, hey, you know what, we're going to help you with marketing. We're going to help you hire the people that you need to do the business with. We're going to give you the ongoing support. We're going to give you, some help with operations. So yeah, I mean, you're much more successful going within a franchise business to start your business on your own. That's 100%.
So when you're looking at it, like, I guess, what things are you looking at, like, when getting into franchising? What things would there's franchise fees, there's things like that. Like, what are when you're starting out, what things are you considering and what kind of outlays are you looking at?
So that's a great question. So you want to consider the most common question is, what does it take to get into a franchise system? I would say if you have about $50,000 worth of liquid cash and the ability to get funding, really good credit, then you definitely can look at some different franchise options that are out there. So you kind of want to have that liquid cash so you have a little bit of runway, and then you could get into an SBA loan. When choosing a franchise, you do want to look at franchise fees. Roughly right now, the average is about 50,000. Then you want to look at royalties that they're going to charge. And then you also want to look at the track record of a franchise. And there's different things there. You could go with a long established franchise, or you could go with a startup franchise. There is advantages to both, as you have the track record of the large franchise. However, the downside is they might not have any more territory open where you want to open at, or they also are just become so big that I'm not saying they don't listen to their franchisees, but they do. But if, let's just, for instance, say you wanted to add something to the business that you thought would do really well, the ones with 100 units probably is not going to listen as much as the guy who only has 2 or 3 franchises. He's going to go, yeah, let's try it and test it out.